Spots are limited. Don't wait. Join the Next Barrels 10-week challenge starting October 11th and take the first swing towards a healthier, stronger you. Barrels Extreme Body Shaping, results, not excuses. Join today, fxblincoln.com. That's fxblincoln.com.
This is Rick Heyman with Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Sartor Heyman is celebrating 120 years, and you could win big. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for your chance to win a $120 gift certificate every week. That's right, we're giving away $120 every week as a thank you for being part of our story. Don't miss your chance to treat yourself. Follow Sartor Heyman Jewelers today. Celebrating 120 years. Sartor Heyman, when only the best will do.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left at once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers. Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Yes, it is time for the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bachman. He is Nick Sander filling in for the first hour. Adam will be here at noon. But we got plenty to talk about, as we usually do, coming off a weekend of jam-packed sports. Unfortunately, of course, didn't include Nebraska. We have to do these things called bye weeks, I guess, during football season, and just kind of meander around and do what you can do. Did you make anything out of the bye weekend, Nick?
Not Nebraska centric. However, I will say that at least we were gifted with top matchups during a Nebraska bye week, though.
Yes.
Like it would be 10,000 times worse if it was like, all right, Nebraska doesn't play, but also, man, there's only 2 top 25 matchups. These are all real bad matchups this entire weekend. No, that wasn't the case last week. You had some really good football games, especially in the SEC.
Yeah. And how are you coming along with the SEC battle of the Big Ten? Do you feel, there's always that argument.
I should be asking you this.
Yeah,
because you're a massissive Big Ten stan. How did it feel watching your beloved Hawkeyes lose to Indiana on Saturday?
It was tough. I thought they were going to win. With that interception there at the end. But it's Iowa football. They're going to find a way to make it ugly. I mean, they might win. And then the most Iowa football thing ever, Indiana, they get a safety at the end because Indiana ran back 40 yards to prevent anything else from happening. I just don't. It's hard to understand what's going on. They didn't want to punt back to Indiana or Iowa. I get that.
Yeah. I say it over and over, and I need to get a T-shirt that revolves around Curt Cignetti, and I just need to keep on saying I hate how much I like him. Like, I have completely turned the ship around on how I feel about Curt Cignetti. Like, I want that.
Oh yeah.
There's got to be something. Think about Indiana football 2 seasons ago. We didn't talk about them. They are a weekly conversation across national sports radio. Indiana football is a conversation piece.
It really is miraculous. And again, one of the craziest things that I've seen, having watched college football my entire life, is see Indiana rise, and it appears again not to just be a fluke.
Yeah.
Appears to be stably set. Now he's a little bit older. Otherwise, I mean, I think just everybody would be coming after him. I still think there's going to be quite a line of folks lining up at his door this offseason to try to see what it would take to get him out of Bloomington into their school. But it really is incredible. That story. I mean, he's got a long way to go to be like a Bill Snyder or something like that, because Bill Snyder stuck around Kansas State and continued that for decades. But that's kind of what it reminds you of, is somebody taking a school that is just the absolute nothing of college football and turning it around. And it's kind of funny though too, because I know you get this all the time. Reading the text line is, well, if he can do it, why can't Matt Rhule do it?
Exactly.
And that's what every head coach in the country is hearing from their athletic directors, hearing from fans about the success of Curt Cignetti and what he's been able to do. It's really probably, I think, coaches in general are probably tired of hearing him, but it is interesting to follow through the can you stand him type, because he's kind of a guy that rubs everybody the wrong way unless you're on his team. We say that about players all the time, but he's kind of like that as a coach. And obviously drubbed Nebraska, said as much later in ESPN appearances. And so some Nebraska fans have started to, didn't like that or didn't necessarily apprate that.
Exactly.
It was just straightforward. He said he'd kick their ass. He did. I mean, what do you want him to say? He's going to have to say the same thing, now again about Illinois.
I mean, this is something to where, so just going back, 2021, they were 2-10, 0-9 in the conference. 2022, 4-8, 2-7 in the conference. 2023, 3-9, 1-8 in the conference. Their wins were over Indiana State, and then in a 4 overtime game, they beat Akron 29-27 in 4 overtimes.
We kind of know what that Akron program's like too.
And then Curt Cignetti gets there in 24, and they win. They win 11 in his first year, and so far in 2025, they're 5-0 and 2-0 in the conference, with wins 63-10 over number 9th ranked Illinois at the time, and then out on the road in Kinnick at Iowa. I mean, it's just hard to everything he says, and you can come after him for the non-conference slate. You can come after him for all of that. You just can't discredit anything he says. You just can't.
Yeah,
because he wins.
It's crazy.
And you can say, if there's one thing we know about whether it's players, whether it's coaches, and it can be about the way they talk, the way they operate, the way they carry themselves, you overlook a lot when you start winning games. And he can say whatever he wants, and people allow him to. Why? Because on Saturdays, when it matters, he wins.
Well, and it's also just interesting, sometimes you got a guy on one side of the ball that has figured something out offensively or whatever, and so their offense puts up a bunch of numbers, or defensively they hold everybody down. Indiana's on both sides of the ball. Like, this is a complete team, and they kind of showed it as much in the last 2 weeks, right? They can score 63 if they need to, or they can hunker down and win a game against Iowa, right? Tough place to play. You can make fun of Iowa all you want, but
it is
a lot of places, a lot of teams struggle to put up 20, 30, especially 30 points on Iowa. So that's the kind of game they played. In Iowa, Indiana was able to win. And then to reflect even better on them, Illinois beat USC 34-32.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the other part is also that they're doing this in year 1 of a new offensive coordinator. Last year, it was Tino Sunseri. Tino ends up going to UCLA in the offseason, left Indiana, and after a successful year, leaves Indiana after last season and goes to be the offensive coordinator at UCLA after Bieniemy got fired. UCLA's now without a head coach, and Deshaun Foster's fired, and Tino Sunseri's now at UCLA. UCLA's fine offensively, not good by any means. Certainly not what Indiana was, but it's the perfect explanation, or a perfect example of program bigger than any one person, any one coach. And at the end of the day, if you can't do the job, or you don't want to do the job, Curt Cignetti was able to go out and find Coach Shanahan to now be their offensive coordinator. And now here you go. It's just, you didn't even skip a step.
And you mentioned UCLA. It wasn't the biggest game in the afternoon, but it was interesting in that they lost 17-14 to Northwestern. Of course, Nebraska has both those teams on their schedule down the line. The problem now for UCLA is there's not a game left they can win, really.
No.
They've got Penn State at Michigan State. We'll see Michigan State this week. Probably not going to happen there. Maryland at Indiana, Nebraska, as we know, at Ohio State, Washington, and at USC. UCLA is almost, I would say, almost likely at this point.
Are they going to go 0-12?
They probably will go 0-12. We've seen Washington do that before, if you remember, under like Jake Locker's final season or something.
Oh, no way.
But very rarely do you see any power team go 0-12.
So winless Power 4 or Power 5 football teams. I'd love to look. Okay, here we go. List of major college football winless seasons.
Oof.
Okay, here we go. There's actually a lot more than I thought there would be. Okay, let's see. Kevin Sumlin. I forgot about that name. 2020
Sumlin went over?
Yeah, in 2025. Yeah, or not 2025, 2020 before he was fired. It was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Pandemic had a lot of them.
Well, that's fair. They played like 6 or 7 games.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
0-9. Derek Mason was 0-8.
Yikes.
Yikes, that is bad. Les Miles in 2020 in the COVID season. Les Miles went 0-9. Yeah, this is so I love these Wikipedia pages because they're so unhinged. Miles' second and final season at Kansas. Kansas never scored more than 23 points in a game.
Now, they played conference only that year, right? I mean,
yeah. Throughout the course of the season, the Jayhawks were outscored by their opponents 414 to 145. 0-9. Let's see. Okay. UCF in 2015. Kansas in 2015 went 0-12 under David Beatty.
Oh, my.
They lost to South Dakota State to open the season.
Kansas is showing up on that list quite a bit.
Yeah, they are. Washington. There it is.
There it is, yeah.
2008. Washington went 0-12 under head coach Ty Willingham.
Yes.
His last season in Washington, quarterback Jake Locker would miss the final 8 games of the season.
Oh, okay. That's probably
so that's probably why. Yeah. Oh, this is the best part. In a week 2 loss to 15th ranked BYU, Locker scored a touchdown to bring Washington to within 28-27, but incurred an excessive celebration penalty, which pushed the extra point attempt back 15 yards. And it ended up being blocked. They would lose that game 28-27, and then eventually lost the Apple Cup to 1-10 overall Washington State. So a really bad one.
I don't know how many people showed up to that game.
Duke went 0-12 into 06. Duke had back-to-back winless seasons in 2000 and 2001. All under the same head coach. Carl Franks in his first season. His first 2 seasons started out 0-22.
At Duke?
At Duke.
I've never even heard of that name. That's crazy. I don't know if you ever got a win. I'd fire him. I think you have to fire him after that.
Hold on. Let's look at Carl Franks. Let me make sure that's his first actual, because that'd be detrimental if he ends up starting the season. Wait a minute. Is he at Bethune-Cookman? No, he's the running backs coach at Bethune-Cookman. Yikes. Think about the fall.
He's probably never recovered from that.
I used to be the head coach at Duke, and then it ended up being so he got to Duke. They kept him. He got to Duke in 1999, was 3-8. Then in 2000 was 0-11. 2001 was 0-11. 2002 he was 2-10, and 2003 he made it through 7 games of the season, was 2-5, and ended up getting fired after 7 games. He coached 52 games for the Duke Blue Devils and was 7-45.
Oh my.
Had a .135 win percentage. That is brutal.
What did they do before him? I wonder, because I always thought Scott Frost got like a long leash. I mean, he made it 5 years with his record, but he wasn't 7-45.
All right, so Duke before this. I can't believe we're talking about Duke football.
Yeah.
So that
shout out Mike Elko. He's getting, or not Mike Elko anymore. He moved on to Texas A&M.
So Fred Goldsmith was the head coach before him, and he got fired from Duke after going 4-7.
Oh, they regretted that.
They regretted that. That was their Bull Pelini. Fred Goldsmith is their Bull Pelini.
We didn't know what we had.
We didn't know what 4 wins really was for us until we had 0-11 in back-to-back seasons. I mean, that's bad. I mean, these are some names for Duke's head coaching. So Steve Spurrier was there in the late 80s, but then it was like Fred Goldsmith, Carl Franks, Ted Roof, David Cutcliffe, who was there from, forever. Cutcliffe was there from 2008 to 2021. And then it was Elko for 2 seasons. Now Manny Diaz. Elko, I'm glad we naturally and organically found a way to talk about Mike Elko, because do you believe in the success that he's having in Texas A&M?
Well, it's hard not to believe, yeah.
I can't believe it. I did not think that was a very good hire.
You did not. It wasn't a splashy hire. They went with splashy before.
It wasn't a notable name hire.
No. But he won at Duke.
He did, and I guess that's hard to do.
Right. That's why they that was what was so impressive. It's worked out well. I don't know. It's interesting you say, do you believe in it? Because they are 4-0 for the first time since 2016.
Yeah.
But I think they had 13 penalties against Auburn.
Oh, is that bad?
They've got some things, like their red zone offense isn't great. They've got some things to work on. So much to the point that they beat Auburn 16-10, and Mike Elko had to shut down the press conference. Not shut it down, but immediately it was like Brian Kelly from the LSU press conference. He said not to compare it to him, but you guys are asking a bunch of negative questions for us. Like, they're getting into the top 5 now.
They are. They're 6th in the country. Their quarterback is fine, Marcel Reed.
Yeah, exciting. Sometimes for the wrong reason.
How about this, though? So, one of the guys that they got from the transfer portal, Kevin Concepcion, who was the transfer from NC State, has had 20 catches already this season. Nate Borkacher, though, transfers out of Nebraska, has 4 catches on the year.
Yeah, but that's very important.
Very important one.
Yeah.
Is that worth the couple $100,000 that he got?
I would think so.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about this. Texas A&M might be legit. I don't know. I was talking to AD a little bit ago just about the parity of college football. Is that if you need an example of just the way college football is wild, Virginia beats Florida State. Alabama is able to beat Georgia on the road, but Florida State can beat Alabama. It's crazy. And now I think Florida State's better than Virginia. If they play that game 10 times, they probably win it 8 out of the 10 times. But ultimately, I just think that, it's the parity in college football is as good as we've had it in the last couple of years.
When I watched a lot of Ohio State and Washington too, and obviously Ohio State, the top ranked team, beating Texas. They didn't overwhelm. They didn't look like they they won 24-6. It wasn't too much of a problem for them. But it's tough to tell. So when you say, do you believe in or buy in the SEC or the Big Ten? There's just not. There's a lot of good teams, there's a lot of solid teams, but is there somebody that's going to run the table or be an obvious choice entering the college football playoffs? I wonder. Obviously, there's going to be favorites. There's going to be teams that are ranked high.
Yeah.
But is anybody going to make it through this season unscathed? And if they do, like we saw last year with Oregon, how much does that mean with the larger playoff? It's exciting though. I think it's a great time for the college football playoff to be in place, and I'm long-standing traditionalist, so I kind of didn't embrace it as much. But for these last couple of years, it's about getting hot at the right time. I think in the new college football playoff.
Here's what's interesting. Is do you remember the last time? And I don't have the answer on this because I think it'd be almost impossible to find it. The last time neither Alabama or Georgia were in the actual top 10. Alabama's 10th, so I guess they're in the top 10. But 1 through 9, Alabama or Georgia wasn't in there. It's crazy. It's absurd to think about. Because then you look at teams like Miami's back to where they're a top 5 team. Ole Miss is now a top 5 team, right? Because they were able to beat LSU over the weekend. Indiana is in that conversation. It's not like Texas is up there. Texas is 9th, right? But it's Ohio State, Oregon, Miami, Ole Miss, Oklahoma is back in there.
Tough schedule too. Let's
right?
see what they can do.
Texas A&M, Penn State, Indiana, Texas. That's 1 through 9. No Alabama, no LSU, no Georgia, no Tennessee. It's crazy, the parity.
Yeah, it is. It makes for a fun weekend. It certainly will. Now, did you watch the Virginia Florida State field storming?
The which one?
The Virginia one.
Yes.
Yeah. That was kind of scary. I think everybody noted online. It looked like the final play looked like they just kind of swarmed over them. So that was interesting.
They were just sitting in the. They were like thoughts and prayers or with whoever was in the end zone
right
at the time. I can't remember the name because they just stampeded over them.
Yeah. So it looks scary. I'm glad nothing necessarily came of that, but it's also interesting. I thought in the Ole Miss game, because we were talking about field stormings, Lane Kiffin made a point afterwards saying we didn't storm the field to beat a top 4 LSU team. They stormed the field last year when they beat us. So it's kind of an interesting times down there in the SEC. Certainly LSU is a historic program, but they haven't been maybe what they were going back to the Joe Burrow days. So you get excited about that win over Ole Miss last year, but now Ole Miss is beating LSU, and it's just like, all right, that's what we kind of expect with a backup quarterback. By the way,
how not secure? That's not the right job, but how would you categorize the chances that Lane Kiffin is at Ole Miss next year?
I don't know, because he's been doing so well there for years. I'm kind of surprised he's been there. At some point, you would think a top job might come calling, but I think it just depends on what opens up. And I don't know. You'd have to find a natural fit there, and then there's going to be there's always some good candidates out there. I'd say it's probably at this point I didn't even think about it. I think it's pretty likely. He's talked before openly about they don't have some of the resources and some of the other things that other teams have in the SEC. But man, this is their year. And it was they obviously their quarterback Jackson Dart making a start in the NFL last year. So a lot of people just kind of overlooked him and thought he probably led them quite a bit. But again, now Trinidad Chambliss,
here we go.
Their backup quarterback, a D2 transfer, has thrown for 300 yards in 3 straight games. They look legit, and maybe the team to take over the SEC.
He played it previously, as you mentioned, Ferris State. This just goes to show it still is important to have good coaches. This is, it shows 1,000% is you can get transfers from Bama, from Georgia, from Florida State. You can get the name brands. But if it is ultra important, top of the line, you have to be able to identify and you have to be able to coach. You just have to, because if you don't put in the effort to go and search Ferris State, or you don't go put in the effort to search D2 or FCS programs, and you can't then take them to the next level. This dude was playing D2 last year and now just beat the number 4 team in the country.
Oh, and we know as Nebraska fans too, it is very difficult to get a backup quarterback these days that's pretty good, unless you're paying them pretty well. Like Oregon did the Dante Moore. By the way, Oregon's money helped them win Dylan Thieneman. Go out there and get a pick. They bought him from Purdue this offseason.
And Dante Moore is good.
And Dante Moore is really good.
He's really good.
But it's really hard to get a backup quarterback. And that's why Nebraska fans are pretty excited, because it looks like they have one.
For now.
So but that's the point.
That's the point.
And so, Ole Miss to be in a position to replace your quarterback at the beginning of the season, that'd be a death sentence for a lot of teams, or at least as far as your expectations. So that's really impressive too. And to your point, kind of speaks to the coaching they've got going on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
A few thoughts off the text line here. Garage Jeff says Curt Cignetti is the new age, more successful Bo Pelini.
I think we don't worry about the nonsense anymore. Like, I think if Bo was the head coach today, like, we wouldn't care about him being the way he was.
Yeah, I always think it's more about the big losses than him blowing up on the sideline and stuff. If you win. Okay, okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's Curt Cignetti's Bo Pelini. He just wins.
Yeah, there you go. The big games.
Wins the big games.
Yeah. Although still wait and see on that. He's in year 2, but he's won some big games in any case. Yeah. Scott in Minnesota says Northwestern almost went winless in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all remember that. They're one win over Nebraska.
I really, really hope David Braun is not let go this year.
You got behind the David Braun bandwagon there.
I think he got a really tough hand.
Yeah,
like I think he got dealt a really tough hand,
but he did well with it. That's
and he
the
did
problem.
well, and
yeah.
he did well, and
now
he's backed up a little bit. You know,
1146 says UCLA Nebraska is going to be close.
It might.
I hope not, but it could be. Hopefully, we don't see that.
UCLA Nebraska, yikes, man.
Especially by then. I just hope not.
There's an avenue. Now, this is not me drinking Kool-Aid. There's an avenue Nebraska is undefeated in October, though.
There is. Well, Nebraska, and that's the other thing.
7-1
with USC losing, they've got one ranked team left on their schedule, and that's Penn State, who also lost.
Are you predicting a Nebraska win against Penn State?
I'm not. I think that they have I think it was Austin that put it pretty well. He basically said it's just a mismatch. Rush defense against rushing.
Is.
Yeah, for Penn State, it's going to be tough to win that one. But we'll see.
But hey, they have Drew Aller.
Yeah,
which means Nebraska has Drew Aller.
Have you been? I mean,
I'm anti Drew Aller.
You're anti Drew Aller.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I thought
even before the playoff last year.
Right.
Anti Drew Aller.
But it's interesting because all season, all we heard about is Drew Aller and Garrett Nussmeier. And then when I turn on the games here, they don't, for as much as Dylan Raiola gets raked through the coals nationally about not being whatever it is you want him to be, every quarterback kind of has their up and downs. And I mean, those guys, along with Drew, I mean, don't look all that different, at least on Saturday, than Dylan has. And in fact, Dylan's looked better more often than especially what Nussmeier looked like on Saturday.
Here's what is funny. Somebody tweeted out this yesterday talking about what James Franklin said in his post-game press conference. He said, if James Franklin James Franklin claims that he feels like the offense is at its best when it sticks to running the football, and that even includes Drew Aller running the football. However, Penn State's head coach James Franklin, one quote later, said that Drew Aller's got to get the hands and the playmakers more often, and the ball into the hands of the playmakers more often, especially the wide receivers. Which one is it? The offense just needs to be better.
Yeah,
you need to run the ball better, and he needs to pass better.
When I saw it, there was a text in here, and I'm sure you and AD were talking about it. Like, there's no. I understand James Franklin still can't win the big game. I mean, that's been the thing that's holding him back. But what are you going to do? You can't move on from him.
I think that he, if Florida ends up moving on from Billy Napier, I think James Franklin's a player for the Florida job. That's kind of what I feel. I think. I think that what will be best for Penn State and for James Franklin is after 12 years, he's been there a long time.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot to show for it. Well, in terms of big wins.
Big Ten title, yeah.
Yeah. One Big Ten title with Saquon Barkley and Trace McSorley, Chris Godwin. Like, here's the other side of that is you had a chance to really springboard off of that year, and they've kind of just stayed neutral every single year since then.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the best teams, super underrated. Trace McSorley was good.
Oh, yeah. Trace McSorley was awesome.
He was fun. That Penn State team was really fun to watch.
It is, but I mean, obviously you do think about a guy that stuck around Nebraska for 22 years. Now, to your point, he'd won maybe some conference titles, maybe more than James Franklin, but that's why there's just
it's a different era. It was a different era of college football, right? Like coaches,
18 conference.
Yeah, coaches get recycled as well. Like just in day and age, like okay, sure, everybody did. Like we had comparisons on the text line when we talked about it. Yeah, to Tom Osborne and stuff, and he didn't win the big ones till late in his career. I understand that, but in those days either they weren't just recycling through coaches the way they do now. I'm not saying it's good that they do, but that's just how college football is. So I feel like just a clean slate, a clean break. Like, hey, you know what? No, we're not firing you. We're not even telling you to leave. But James Franklin goes, you know what? After 12 years, maybe it's just best if I just go down to Florida.
But again, if you
go to Gainesville,
if you're Penn State, what do you transition to there? That's the best.
Oh, I have no clue.
Coach on the open market. And I've seen the idea about Matt Rhule.
No. Not yet.
Not even close, because their problem is they can't win the big game. And Matt Rhule hasn't proven to win.
That's what I said. Like if Matt Rhule, now we can have this conversation if Nebraska has a 10-win team this year. Yeah,
they go down and beat Penn State.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Oh man, can you imagine if Nebraska goes to Penn State and beats Penn State? Can you imagine the people?
And Franklin leaves after. Then maybe.
Yeah, like there's a couple of things that have to happen. Most notably, like Florida has to get rid of Billy Napier first.
Yeah.
But I just think like that's a job. But like Penn State wouldn't be able to then sway Dabo. Like they're not going to be able to sway Lanning, but they're comparing themselves and the expectations to those of Oregon and Ohio State. And so now that they see teams like Indiana and Illinois rush into the top 15 consistently, you expect them just to lay down. Like if Nebraska was in their spot, we would hold them to the expectation and the standard of you expect to compete for championships.
Yeah. As we know as Nebraska fans, just be careful what you wish for. If you're Penn State, top 10 program, maybe they can't get above 8 in that top 10, but they've been there.
90% of college football teams would be thrilled to have James Franklin.
Absolutely.
Penn State views themselves as one of those top 10% teams, and so they don't feel great about having James Franklin.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting stuff in college football. Another interesting weekend. A coach was fired. We can talk a little bit about that on the other side of it as well. This is Adam Carriker Show here. I'm Jake Bachman, Nick Sander in as well. We'll be back after the break.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Husker fans know when you work together, great things happen. At Cornhusker Bank, they're more than your financial partner. With 5 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Omaha, they're your neighbors, your teammates, and your biggest fans. Whether you're saving for your first home, planning your future, or growing your business, they're right here in Nebraska to help you move forward together. Visit cornhusker.bank to learn more. Cornhusker Bank, member FDIC, doing life together. Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
I love Nebraska Pick 3. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
What if I told you there's now a Nebraska Pick 4?
Say what?
It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you could choose from 6 different bet types. What would you say to that?
I love Nebraska Pick 4. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
Thought so. Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here a roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Are your feet just killing you and you feel like all hope is lost? Say goodbye to discomfort and hello to pain relief at Brown's Shoe Fit. They offer expert advice along with high-quality products to help you find the right solution tailored to your specific needs. Need a different width? Not a problem. Brown's carries a wide range of widths in store. Brown's Shoe Fit on 66th and Q in Lincoln.
I'm Kirk Herbstreit, and today I'm eating Raising Cane's.
Herbstreit's in the drive-thru again. Oh, hey, Kirk. What can I get you today?
I want a solid bench of 4 chicken fingers that are real difference makers. Sprinkle cut fries with dynamic ridge patterns, Texas toast, and cane sauce with an air of smugness that comes from knowing you're the best. Now back to you, Todd.
So the usual.
Make Raising Cane's part of your game day lineup. One love.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Adam will be in at the top of the hour at noon, so don't miss that. And he'll be able to talk a little bit about what's been going on at the Nebraska press conference that Matt Rhule is talking about, or it's at the stand right now. We'll give you the updates on that as it comes. In fact, Nick, you have an early update for us from the press conference already?
Yeah, Malcolm Hartzog doubtful for Saturday's matchup against Michigan State. If I remember correctly, this is third consecutive game he's out. Not out. He's not out for Michigan State, just doubtful.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, not necessarily great news for Nebraska, but, Donovan Jones has stepped in there as the starter so far. So we'll see how it goes for Nebraska. Hartzog obviously helping save the first game of the season.
You're right. Yeah, big reason. I just saw this on my Twitter feed. On3 reported that did you see this about Paul Feinbaum? Paul Feinbaum is considering leaving ESPN to run for a Senate seat in Alabama.
Okay.
He's leaving ESPN for politics. Can you imagine Paul Feinbaum in politics?
A lot of takes. He's clearly biased.
What is it? We're bringing in Paul Feinbaum on Fox News. Paul, did you see what Kayla DeBoer said last night? Whatever.
There is a lot of crossover.
There's a lot of crossover.
There for some reason. Southern college football analysts seem to know what they're, or at least be interested in politics. So we'll put it that way.
How about this one? Jonathan Smith said in Michigan State's press conference today that they will be without their starting left tackle. Stanton Ramil will not play this weekend due to an undisclosed injury. They're also, Jonathan Smith mentioned that starting linebacker Brady Pretzloff is out for the rest of the season. Backup linebacker Wayne Matthews III was able to move around late last week and lightly practice. Has a chance to play at Nebraska, but that's it. So some news out of, that's pretty big. The left tackle for Michigan State, 6'7", 312 pounds.
Wow.
Started all 4 games this season for Michigan State. He's out. So Michigan State will be without their starting left tackle on Saturday against the Huskers.
Not great for
that's big news.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see. What are your feelings about Michigan State this week as we dump into it? I know you're a big Jonathan Smith guy.
I am.
Is it do you think it could pop up here, his breakout at Michigan State?
I think that this game's going to be closer than people will give the Spartans credit for. I think Nebraska should win this. I really like Aiden Childs. I was talking about it a little bit, went on a little bit monologue earlier in the. I like Aiden Childs a lot. I think there's actually some comparisons to Aiden Childs and Dylan Raiola. Maybe not in the way that they play, but just the statistics and the output from them the last couple of seasons and this season as well. Takes care of the football, can use his legs if he wants to. I think Michigan State runs the ball better than Nebraska. Now that might change though without a starting left tackle. So I think this one's closer. I look for Nebraska to special teams. I think we're still waiting for a big exclamation point, and so we'll see that if we get that from Nebraska this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting matchup in that their pass defense isn't particularly good, and Nebraska's been very good at passing so far this year. So should be an opportunity for Nebraska to score quite a bit of points. Of course, it's the other side of the ball that you do kind of worry about. I mean, they do have some pretty good athletes. Nick Marsh out at wide receiver, but particularly Aiden Childs running the ball, which Nebraska was pretty. I wouldn't say Nebraska, but Nebraska fans were worrisome about Bryce Underwood. And it's tough to say whether that played out as bad as what we thought it would. The traditional ground game ended up hurting Nebraska more than anything. But obviously, if they wanted to run Bryce more, Michigan maybe could have had more success with it. And I wonder if that's going to be a big part of the recipe for Michigan State and Aiden Childs here. It's an interesting one for former Legends Division rivals.
Yeah, you're right. More news out of the Matt Rhule press conference. Nebraska. Matt Rhule just announced the game time of the Maryland matchup.
Sweet. I've never seen that before.
It will be a 3:30 kickoff.
Okay.
For Nebraska versus Maryland.
Does he have the TV partner? Did he give us everything?
He goes, Matt Rhule says the Maryland game will be at 3:30 p.m., but it will be officially announced in a little bit. So I guess that's the question is like this week. Okay, so this is how we can tell the TV's college football scoreboard. We can tell the TV partner who has that time slot because 3:00 is FS1. Is 3:30 Fox?
Oh man,
is because
they're playing on FS1 at 3 this week, right?
Oh, maybe he means 3:30 Eastern time.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too, because 2:30 would be more natural. I don't know who starts
CBS.
at 3:30.
2:30 CBS. Hello.
Well, and how much? I mean, obviously you got to make this decision now. Maryland's got an interesting one this week against Washington. I mean, if Maryland's
a tough opponent.
If Maryland wins, they'll be undefeated.
Maryland's good.
Yeah,
Maryland's got the
They're
good
pretty
quarterback.
solid. Yeah.
Hello.
I like that. I've never heard
Matt, we need to know is it Eastern or Central or Eastern?
Yeah. Because I don't think even BTN, does anybody have a game at 3:30? That's kind of an odd time.
So, okay, hold on. Big Ten.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was Fox initially because, nobody has it. So it must be 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central time. Because no Big Ten game this weekend is being played at 3:30 Central time. I have a tough time believing CBS will get it or will want it. You look at some of the other Big Ten games that are going on in week 7. Indiana, Oregon is one of the top ones. Ohio State at Illinois. You have, where's that? Michigan, USC.
Yeah, those three are all way better.
Those are all better than Nebraska, Maryland. And so you feel like it'd be tough to get it there. But like this week, there are 2 games that are played at 2:30 Central time that are on Big Ten Network.
Okay, yeah.
So I'd imagine it'll be 2:30 on Big Ten Network.
Pretty good get for BTN, though.
It is a good get.
Guys, it's a solid game. It's just not, where those other ones are.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting.
That's so funny. Matt Rhule announces that Maryland, Nebraska will be at 3:30.
Hey, that's if he could do that every week, I'd be even more interested.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good press conference for him.
We need to know the game times of like games to come. I wish that we could find out sooner. I get why they do it. I understand why TV networks want to flex schedules and things like that. But like, I swear to goodness, Northwestern Nebraska better be an 11 a.m. game. Like, don't make us wait till 6:30 for that one.
JP says Peacock. Indiana, Iowa was on Peacock this weekend, and I wouldn't buy it. I wanted to see it, but I wouldn't buy it.
Well, isn't it the same as NBC?
No, it's just exclusively
it's only on Peacock?
Yeah. I think Nebraska, Wisconsin was like that last year? There was one game that was like that.
Well, yeah, it was only on Peacock.
Yeah,
you're right. Because I think Jack Collinsworth had the call.
Yeah.
That's tough to listen to. That's a tough listen, man.
It's just frustrating.
People are probably saying the same thing about me right now, but it's okay.
Well, yeah, Jack Collinsworth's fine for what he's done in his career.
Yeah, he's fine.
Nepo baby. No, I'm just kidding.
I found this out last night watching the NFL game. After it ended in a tie, I knew that they were going to air Jerry Jones's media press conference after the game. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna stay tuned. I'll listen to the NBC post-game show or Peacock post-game show, whatever it is. And all right, let's send it out to the field to Chris's son, Jack. And I'm like, are we really doing this right now? Jack Collinsworth is the studio host for the Sunday Night Football post-game show that takes place at the stadium. And so Chris is up in the booth and Jack is down.
And they call him Chris's son, Jack. They don't.
Yeah. They say, let's send it out to the field to Jack Collinsworth. And Mike Tirico like emphasizes Jack Collinsworth.
Yeah.
And so it's just so when you said Nepo, it's funny.
It is. You know, it happens. Whatever.
They both get to travel.
Yes. Good for the Collinsworth.
I'll never forget when Jack Collinsworth was in town for Nebraska versus #1 Purdue at PBA.
Okay, yeah.
And Nebraska upset them. And everybody was like, please get somebody more excited on the call for when a #1 team in the country goes down. So.
Yeah. I do like Chris Collinsworth. Do you like Chris?
I have no problem with Chris.
Yeah.
Everybody gives him crap for the Mahomes thing. I noticed last night that he talks with his hands a lot. He does like the whole like halfway incompletion signal.
Oh, yeah.
Like with his hands like all the time, like hey. So anyway.
I just like that here's a guy.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, there's also like the sounds that he makes.
Yeah.
Where now it's kind of weird and they kind of can be framed inappropriately, but like it's kind of strange because when Jordan Love was rushing, did you watch the game last night?
I didn't.
So Jordan Love was rushing to the line with like 7 seconds and they should have just spiked it. But Jordan Love ran a play and fortunately they had the 1 second left on the clock to kick the game tying field goal in overtime. But they were like, you just hear Tarico's like calling the play and you just hear Collins go, hold on, wait a minute. Chris, you got to stop. You got a live mic. You have a hot mic on right now. So anyway, it's bizarre, but I do like Chris Collins.
Yeah, I do like Chris Collins. I love the broadcast in breaking down broadcast.
I miss Al Michaels less than I thought I would. Al Michaels. I love
Mike Tirico.
I love Mike Tirico.
You do. I've never forgiven Mike Tirico because back in 2005, that Michigan-Nebraska overtime game.
Oh yeah,
or the game that went crazy. Like there's people all out on the field. He thought Michigan should have won that or had a replay or something like that. And I never forgive him. Yeah, never forgive Mike Tirico afterwards.
I'm trying to think. What was the last game that Mike Tirico called for Nebraska?
It might be that one. I don't know.
I mean, because for some reason I feel like he was in town for a Husker basketball game. I could be so off on that.
Yeah.
But I feel like he was in town for something on the call for Nebraska. I don't know.
Yeah, try to AI it and see if we can get an answer there. Google it as it were. But let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll try to see if we can run down that answer. We've got one more segment with Nick and then Adam Carriker will show up for the Adam Carriker show at noon. So we're looking forward to that as well. That'll be next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you ready to transform your body and your life in just 10 weeks? At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, our kickboxing challenge combines heart-pumping cardio, strength training, and proven nutrition coaching to deliver real results. Lose fat, gain strength, and feel more confident than ever. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Join the next Farrell's 10-week challenge starting October 11th and take the first swing towards a healthier, stronger you. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, results, not excuses. Join today, fxblincoln.com. That's fxblincoln.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up. And we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
I love Nebraska Pick 3. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
What if I told you there's now a Nebraska Pick 4?
Say what?
It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you could choose from 6 different bet types. What would you say to that?
I love Nebraska Pick 4. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
Thought so. Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Here we are on the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket. Adam will be in just a few minutes, but Nick Sander has jumped in with myself for this first hour. Nick, one more thing for the press conference that I think is interesting that we certainly will continue to break down throughout the day and get you those clips. Is Matt Rhule said they have a really good plan for running back number 2, but won't disclose it. What could really be a really good plan for running back number 2? Isn't one or the other guys or a combination? I mean, I don't know what that means.
Did they disclose it to the team? Do you think?
I don't know. Hopefully the running back number 2 knows.
Oh my gosh, man. It's fine. Whatever. Sure. I guess, like, I don't know. Nebraska needs to find, number one, they need to be able to block up front. And then number 2, they need to be able to run the football.
Has Mekhi Nelson or Quentin Ives looked bad when they've got the opportunity? I mean,
no, I think the problem with Mekhi, I think, has been some just off-field stuff.
Yeah, he just sit out a game.
Yeah, I had to sit out a game and things like that. I think the problem with Quentin Ives is he does a few things well, but not necessarily the consistency. I think it's what type of running back he is. Mm-hmm. Mekhi Nelson is much more like Emmett Johnson. Quentin Ives is not. Yeah. And I think Nebraska needs a second Emmett Johnson-esque back.
That's interesting because, you could look at it from either ways. Is you want to have somebody that kind of naturally just kind of fits the offense the way that Emmett Johnson has, and you don't have to change much to it. Or you kind of look at his last year, you kind of had the power back in Dante Dowdell. Ives, more of a north and south runner, at least. I think maybe you could describe him as a power back. So I'm interested to see what they do there. And also, do you have to have? I mean, if there's not clear separation at number 2, I mean, clearly you'd want guys to kind of create that. But if there's not, do you see a problem in splitting the carries, or do you think maybe one guy should get, even if it's 6 reps one way or the other, splitting it, you're not going to allow anybody to get into a rhythm. Maybe you can get a rhythm going with a few carries.
I think it needs to be one, and I think I mean, it might even be Isaiah Mosey.
Yeah,
It could be that type of thing. I thought it was interesting last week. Matt Rhule specifically kind of went out of his way to talk about how he feels like Mekhi Nelson should be a starter at this level. It feels like they are high on Mekhi Nelson outwardly, but I think internally, they really like Quentin Ives. I honestly have no idea of which way this one's leaning.
Yeah, it's a tough.
Which doesn't make me feel great.
Yeah,
right. Like there's just a part of me that I think Nebraska's going to throw the ball around the yard game after game.
Well, especially against Michigan State.
Yeah, like I think
I
just think that Nebraska. They can say that they want to run the ball. They'll say they want to be physical, and I think they do. But then you get in the moment, and you're like, okay, yeah, you know what? This is fun. Like we have skill guys on the perimeter. Dane Key's legit. Ja'Cory Barney's a dude. Like let's get the ball in their hands. And I think so. Right? Exactly. I think that's what you need to do. I think Nebraska's just going to be a team that throws it 35 times a game.
Which is, I think, is good more often than not. But then you run into the Michigan defenses or the Penn State defenses that overwhelm your tackles.
Absolutely.
And then what do you have to fall back on? So I think that's why you want to kind of address the running game, be able to go to that if you have to in games and in certain games where you're going to struggle. But we'll see. Maybe they learned a lot from the tape against Michigan. Maybe they'll be better prepared when they're overwhelmed at the tackle position.
Absolutely right. OG Les Lancaster. I have a 7-step plan. I'll give you steps 1 and 4 though. That's funny. Potentially.
We'll see. Yeah. As much as you hope to have more clarity in that, if there's not a clear number 2, Emmett Johnson's clearly the guy that they trust, given the amount of carries that he got last week compared to everybody else. All right, let's go ahead and call it a wrap there. Adam Carriker will be next on the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Husker fans know when you work together, great things happen. At Cornhusker Bank, they're more than your financial partner. With 5 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Omaha, they're your neighbors, your teammates, and your biggest fans. Whether you're saving for your first home, planning your future, or growing your business, they're right here in Nebraska to help you move forward together. Visit cornhusker.bank to learn more. Cornhusker Bank, member FDIC. Doing life together.
Are you ready to transform your body and your life in just 10 weeks? At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, our kickboxing challenge combines heart-pumping cardio, strength training, and proven nutrition coaching to deliver real results. Lose fat, gain strength, and feel more confident than ever. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Join the next Farrell's 10-week challenge starting October 11th and take the first swing towards a healthier, stronger you. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, results, not excuses. Join today, fxblincoln.com. That's fxblincoln.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
I love Nebraska Pick 3. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
What if I told you there's now a Nebraska Pick 4?
Say what?
It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you could choose from 6 different bet types. What would you say to that?
I love Nebraska Pick 4. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
Thought so. Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Are you ready to transform your body and your life in just 10 weeks? At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, our kickboxing challenge combines heart-pumping cardio, strength training, and proven nutrition coaching to deliver real results. Lose fat, gain strength, and feel more confident than ever. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Join the next Farrell's 10-week challenge starting October 11th and take the first swing towards a healthier, stronger you. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, results, not excuses. Join today, fxblincoln.com. That's fxblincoln.com.
This is Rick Heyman with Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Sartor Heyman is celebrating 120 years, and you could win big. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for your chance to win a $120 gift certificate every week. That's right, we're giving away $120 every week as a thank you for being part of our story. Don't miss your chance to treat yourself. Follow Sartor Heyman Jewelers today. Celebrating 120 years. Sartor Heyman, when only the best will do.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show. All right, for a brief period, going back to an hour. We'll see how that progresses over time. Business is business, but here's the deal. We're still chatting. Jake, what are they going to get? Husker sports, college football, sports in general, unique insight, unbridled honesty. And producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. What that means is you're getting the creme de la creme of the headlines, as if the show wasn't loaded enough. All right, Matt Rhule on the Pat McAfee Show. I'm just going to read you the quote, and then we're going to chat about it. And I quote, "It was probably the best practice that we've had all year. I think our defense made a real jump this week," end quote. And then he says another quote. Again, this was what, last Friday or Thursday, whenever he goes on every week with Pat. He said, and I quote, "I hate that we have a bye week after losing that game because you want to get back out there and play. We went out there on Tuesday and played football for about an hour and 15 minutes. Sometimes you just got to get back to playing." And then I actually cut off the rest of the quote. I assume he says the game or football. And that'll be the end of that quote. So we're going to chat about that. Has Nebraska made a real and true jump during the bye week? Let's be honest. We won't know. Nobody knows. Like, Rhule could be correct. Nobody would know better than him. But he could be correct. That could be the best week of practice they've ever had since he walked through the door about 2.5 years ago.
but we won't truly know if there's an actual jump been made until the game on Saturday. So we're going to come back. We're going to chat about that real quick. First of all, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors and partners. All right, it's the noon hour. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. It's lunchtime. The lunch hour of the Adam Carriker Show here on The Ticket is sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue, now with 2 locations at 11th and Cornhusker and at 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burnt-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much, much more, plus incredible size. Get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker and at 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Again, we'll be doing another on-location show here at some point in the very near future. Jake, when you hear that, the word jump, I heard that all offseason. The best practice we've had. I'm not going to lie. It's not Matt's fault, but I had flashbacks to some Frost press conferences. Now, am I trying to poke holes in this thing? No, these were my immediate thoughts last week when I saw them. Bye weeks are great for multiple reasons. And it also depends on the time of the year that you have that. Bye weeks late in the year are great for getting your nicks and your wounds and your beat up guys healed up. Early in the year, they're great for getting better and learning and improving, especially, and with all due respect to Houston Christian and Akron, it was almost like we had a bye week when we played those 2 teams. Because think back to Dylan, think back to Emmett, think back to the starters. They sat out the last quarter and a half of Akron and the last second half of Houston Christian. That's 3.5 quarters. They basically had a bye week, then Michigan, then a bye week. So this past bye week, I sure hope was used to make a jump, to get better, to improve, to blocking, tackling, shedding blocks, getting physical. I said before the bye, I call it a Husker drill. Forget calling it Oklahoma drill. All right, we do what we want around here. We're going to call it the Husker drill. I want to see Husker drill, which is football at its finest, blocking, tackling, shedding blocks, running people over, tackling people. Oklahoma drill is what I'm talking about. It's now called Husker drill here in the state of Nebraska. You're welcome for the name change, unless you're from Oklahoma. That's what I wanted to see. And then I wanted to see one-on-ones. We had to be able to win the one-on-one battles and situations when it came to protecting our quarterback with our offensive line, and win more one-on-one battles when it came to get it after the opposing quarterback without having to blitz all the time. We have 6 sacks on the year. Oklahoma had 10 sacks versus Auburn alone. Michigan had 7 sacks versus us alone. I'm not coming out indicting anybody. What I'm saying is when you use the word jump, that means something. When you say the best practice we've had, that means something. I am hoping that it is true. We are a double-digit favorite to Michigan State. If we beat Michigan State, we're 4-1. Then you go to Maryland, we're going to be a favorite. Not a double-digit favorite like we were in the preseason. Maryland doesn't look half bad. That ain't going to be an easy gimme game. We're favored every game in October right now. And half the games in November. Doesn't mean diddly squat. If we don't go out, we can't block, tackle, shed blocks, and win some one-on-one situations a little bit more than we did against Michigan, albeit a field goal game. Jake, it's an hour. It's short and it's intense. Let's light this candle. What are your thoughts?
Well, like you said, unfortunately, you kind of get us calls back to Scott Frost because he ran out of answers at a certain point during his tenure, and so he kind of go back to best week of practice. Now, again, I don't know if you can. I guess to me, I don't care if it is the best or one of the best. What he's trying to say is they responded well, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing is that they did respond well. He's not coming out and saying, "Yeah, we do need to do something." They're kind of down. We got to kick it up. Is that they responded well. Again, is it the best? It's hard to metric, what metrics are there to use for practice, but that's the good news is that they did respond well, at least to the level that he was expecting. But it's tough again, because when you make those jumps or when you want to make that jump, how do you do that in a week? And can you do that without adding anything to the roster? Right. I mean, they look like some of their roster holes were exposed a little bit against Michigan. So do I think that they'd be ready to take on the Michigan pass rush after a week of practice? I'm not sure they have the bodies capable of that. All right. Maybe they could scheme it a little bit better, but are they preparing and getting prepared to move on from Michigan, hopefully learn some lessons and give it their best shot moving forward? I hope so. And I hope it wasn't that hard for them to do. I know it's hard to lose any game, but I know they had national championship expectations as well, But this was a team that very likely never was going to go undefeated. And so it was going to need to bounce back. And so far, I think during the Matt Rhule era, we've usually seen at least them be able to bounce back well.
That's a very good point. You think back, Michigan game year one. Michigan game year one. He had them scrimmage that Sunday night, the very next day. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of such a thing in my life. I had heard of some crazy things in my life. Like, I played for a coach where every practice in the bye week turned into a never-ending scrimmage. It was harder than fall camp. And this was going into the Colorado game at the end of the year when you were beat up. I'd never heard of a coach coming in the next day and saying, we're going to scrimmage on a Sunday night. I freaking loved it. And on a short week, remember, that was a Friday game in Champaign. They went on a short week on the road and beat Illinois that Friday. What was it last year? There was a good bounce back game last year. What was it last year?
Well, just the fact that they got destroyed by Indiana and then took Ohio State to the brink.
That's what it was. Because remember, I kind of got shredded for daring to say Nebraska can earn respect this week. I have this crazy notion that sometimes players and teams play better one week than the other, and there are emotions and human being factors that go into games, and it's not just a name and a face on a computer screen that always is the exact same player. So I dared to say that, and I got shredded, and then people after the game were like, I see what you were talking about. I had no idea what was going to happen. We could have lost 1,000-0. I just simply said we could earn respect. Now we can earn respect by winning some more of these games. You make a very good point, though. We're not going to play another team quite like Michigan. What I mean by that, you look at the month of October. Michigan is not as good as they have been in the trenches. But keep in mind, they were undefeated 15-0, won a national championship 2 years ago. So that's quite the barometer, okay? Even a year ago, curb stomped Alabama, beat the national champs in their house for the fourth straight year. So even if they're not as good as they were last year or 2 years ago, they're still pretty good. I look at the rest of October, we're not going to play a team with the line of scrimmage, offensive, defensive lines that's as good as Michigan. That's not to say they're weak or they're soft or they're not good or they're not above average or not pretty good. I look at the rest of the schedule, and I look at the trenches of all the teams that we're going to play, and I only see one, maybe two. Not USC, sorry, not in the trenches. As a team, yes, USC might be better than Michigan, but not in the trenches. Not where we need to upgrade. Penn State, although I'll be honest with you, I thought the Penn State offensive line might win the Joe Moorhead Award this year for the best offensive line in the country. Oregon won the trenches. Their offensive line controlled Penn State's D-line, and Oregon's D-line and whole controlled Penn State's O-line. They won by 3 points. Oregon did. The whole entire game, I felt like they had so many drives deep into Penn State territory that just didn't manufacture a point. They were controlling the game. It was just, I was waiting at any moment in time for the floodgates to open and Oregon just to run them off the field. And then they went up by 2 touchdowns. Credit to Penn State for coming back. I mean, credit to them. There are stats in that game. Sometimes a game, the score is not as close or is closer than the game actually was. Sometimes the stats are inverse. What I'm saying is that was a double overtime game. Penn State could have won that game. Oregon controlled that game. Controlled it. Penn State really had about a 7-minute window in the fourth quarter. Oregon controlled the other 53 minutes and in reality the 2 overtimes as well. So my point is Penn State's really good in the trenches. Michigan, I don't think they have the better team. They might be better in the trenches. Iowa, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at the rest of our schedule. Did we just play the team with the best offensive and defensive lines we're going to play all year? Absolutely one of the 2 or 3 best unequivocally. Now, we still have to get better. Because if we go out against Michigan State and we get controlled by an improved Michigan State team, but a team that we're a double-digit favorite at home after a bye too, Michigan State's after a bye in all fairness as well. Like, we got to get better in the trenches. But that may have been the best offensive and defensive lines that we'll play all year. Is there anything off the text line real quick, Jake?
There's a few thoughts.
What do we got?
Mostly going back to Scott Frost.
2-8. Seriously?
Well,
one passing comment? All right, go ahead.
2-8 says Frost always had great practices off week at Kool-Aid. Adam says, when Rhule says it, I believe it. When Scott said it, yeah, okay. Big Bird says we Husker fans have PTSD from best week of practice quotes from a former head coach.
Yep.
So everybody's catching on to that. But Wild Bill says we may not be a favorite against Maryland if they are undefeated. They've got an interesting game this week. Maryland does against Washington coming in.
Ooh, where's it at?
It is at Maryland. Washington is favored by 5.5 at this point.
I thought Washington would. I figured they'd lose to Ohio State. I thought it would be within one score. I honestly thought it'd be within a field goal. So either Ohio State's even better than we realized, and they're the number one team in the country. Are they still number one? Did Oregon overtake them? I think Ohio State's still number one.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know that in the odds to make the playoffs, 3 of the top 4 teams are in the Big Ten? Number 1 is Oregon. Number 2 is Ohio State. Number 3 is Alabama, back from the dead, like Lazarus. And then number 4 is Indiana. The Fighting Kurt Cignettis. Holy smokes. Iowa played them closer than I thought they would. I have no doubt it was a great week of practice. I have no doubt they got better. We will learn more on Saturday versus Michigan State and Sparty. We go out and we win, and we're 4-1. I'm rooting for Maryland to win. I'm going to take Maryland because it's in Maryland. USC didn't like playing at 9 a.m. Oregon didn't mind traveling 3 time zones, although they were at night, in fairness, in the whiteout. Man, that was an impressive win for Oregon. Dante Moore is a good quarterback. He may be the best of the last 3 quarterbacks they've had. Dylan Gabriel, Bo Nix, by the way, 3rd and 1st round draft picks. You can see why he was a 5-star out of high school. Jake, I don't want to bring this up, but you chastised him before the season. Do you remember that? Oh, he couldn't start at UCLA, transferred to Oregon. Bad news, Bach, are you awake? You have to respond.
Yeah, I mean, I was intrigued by the fact that he was rated pretty highly without having played too much.
I actually, so for me, I respected the fact that he started at UCLA, transferred to another school, which he committed to Oregon initially out of high school, then went to UCLA. Now he's back at Oregon, obviously. But was willing to sit a year. How many guys are starters? I'll go somewhere else, I'll learn, I'll get better, and then I'll sit, and then I can hopefully start. The current UCLA quarterback took a slightly different mental approach. Worked out a little bit differently so far for him. Maybe he can get the ship righted. Nico Iamaleava. Oh, man. I am personally excited for Michigan State. And then I can't wait to see what happens at Maryland. We are going to know so much more 1 week from now and two weeks from now about this team than we probably even know as we sit here, right now. All right. Let's start reacting to this Rhule press conference that happened. Matt Rhule, Aiden Childs is one of the better players in the Big Ten. He can run. He can throw. He averages about 10 carries a game. Michigan State's fresh off a bye. They were beat up with some injuries heading into the bye. So I'm curious to see how their injury report unfolds as this week goes along. He says Michigan State will be ready. They have a plan for their number 2 running back position, but they don't want to show it until Saturday. He talked about he's challenging the coaches. We got to find a number 2 running back. All right, they do feel good with where they are, which is the exact opposite of what he said after the Michigan game. Didn't like where they were. Remember that?
Yeah.
All right. Must have been a really good bye week of practice. Hey, you can get better. You can make strides. You can learn things. There are things that can happen from a loss. Sometimes, I don't know if we're in this position because a lot of times a team that can go undefeated, sometimes they're better after a loss because it's a reminder of, hey, you've got to get better. Almost the pressure of going undefeated comes off their backs. I don't know that we're in that position, but there are times when a loss can be better than a win, even though we're not like, weren't a legit threat to go undefeated this year. Maybe Nebraska learned and has film in a bye week, and maybe we're better for the loss. I don't know that over 50% of me believes that, but I'm not going to say like it's not possible because it is possible. All right. We are not there yet when running the ball. Well, got to keep getting better with the ground game. Malcolm Hartzog is doubtful for this week. And I quote, no one cares about their feelings. Play better, end quote. Oh. So I have conversations sometimes, and I'm fairly open on this show. There's a conversation that goes all the way back to April that immediately pops into my head. And I'm committing the unforgivable sin in a show in the fact that I am sharing that without sharing the full thing. But I am so tempted to pick up the phone and call somebody or screenshot that quote and text it to that person because I was said the exact opposite last April. Nobody is coming to save us. If you lose a game, correct it and move on. Michigan State has an NFL caliber punter. Michigan State is the number one punt return unit in the country. Says we have a good O-line, just had a bad day. That seems like a good pausing spot. I feel like that's a good spot to take a break, and we should come back and discuss that. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back during the break, we will discuss your comments, your questions, your thoughts, your concerns. So text us your thoughts, comments, questions, and concerns to this. What's the number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
When it comes to, right, no one cares about their feelings, play better. Love that quote. Personally, I'd like a little bit more consistency in things I'm told, but again, I'm talking to myself with a microphone in front of my face, but that's okay. Says we have a good O-line, just had a bad day against Michigan. I'm curious your thoughts on all of that. And obviously, they can play better than they did. What can we realistically expect going forward? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
I love Nebraska Pick 3. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
What if I told you there's now a Nebraska Pick 4?
Say what?
It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you could choose from 6 different bet types. What would you say to that?
I love Nebraska Pick 4. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
Thought so. Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
It's time for Bonsall Pool and Spa's Truckload event. From September 23rd through the 27th, stop by Bonsall Pool and Spa at 3201 Pioneers Boulevard to see an actual truck full of hot tubs with special prices. You'll save up to $3,000 on all hot tubs and swim spas, as well as $1,500 on all saunas and cold plunges. Use Nebraska football's bye week well by stopping in on September 27th for refreshments and giveaways. That's Bonsall Pool and Spa at 3201 Pioneers Boulevard in Lincoln.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com. Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Are you ready to transform your body and your life in just 10 weeks? At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, our kickboxing challenge combines heart-pumping cardio, strength training, and proven nutrition coaching to deliver real results. Lose fat, gain strength, and feel more confident than ever. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Join the next Farrell's 10-week challenge starting October 11th and take the first swing towards a healthier, stronger you. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, results, not excuses. Join today, fxblincoln.com. That's fxblincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be warm with an afternoon high near 88. Tonight, mainly cloudy skies and light winds, the low around 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. It will be breezy with an afternoon high near 81. I'm meteorologist Kyle Carriker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right. Jake, we got some comments on the O-line and things of that nature. Don't get into them yet, but do we have a few?
Not yet. We need you guys to send them in.
They don't care about the offensive line? That's all I've heard about for a week. Good grief. All right. As a former Husker and NFL player, I'm a health nut. Hydration and recovery start at home. That's why we have teamed up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and it protects your water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, you can add a Culligan reverse osmosis. Ladies and gentlemen, it is like bottled quality water right at your tap. Great taste, and it's certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, get up to $300, easy for me to say, $300 off a whole home system, or $9.95 a month. Very reasonably priced for the first 3 months. Schedule your free water test at CulliganHuskers.com. That's CulliganHuskers.com. Culligan of Lincoln, water you love. Go Big Red. All right. So if we get any comments on that particular subject, my gut tells me people are just talked out about the O-line. They're like, we just want to see it at this point. Is that kind of what your gut says?
Yeah, to a degree. There's one text here says that should Rhule try to go get Sam Pittman on the staff for the offensive line. Newly fired Sam.
No, I completely understand. I'm processing the question because that had not even occurred to me. So for those who didn't know, Arkansas forgot to show up on Saturday, lost by 1,000 to Notre Dame, and Sam Pittman, the head coach, was fired the next day. He's kind of an offensive line guy. I mean, why not? I don't know. Maybe you give it another week or two, see if the offensive line can bounce back. Maybe it was just a bad day. Maybe Michigan really is that good. I mean, it Rhule's like a couple of Michigan guys are top 10 picks. I hadn't seen them in the preseason top 10 NFL picks, but guys play themselves into it and out of it all the time. Probably wait a week or two, see how the O-line develops or doesn't develop. Hopefully they do develop. Let Donovan do his job a little bit more. If not, bring him in without hesitation. What did Rhule say? Nobody cares about their feelings. Play better. Let's get results. All right, where was I at? Oh, the offensive line, real quick. My thoughts on the offensive line, because I've had people tell me they're not that big. No, the defensive line isn't as big. The offensive line is huge. All right, they're not small by any stretch of the imagination. They've got a lot of experience. They have 5 guys on that offensive line who've started double-digit games in their careers. Some of them are deep into the double digits. All right. They've got experience. They've got some guys who are highly recruited. Now, in fairness, Turner Corcoran, 2 major knee injuries and surgeries. Teddy Prohaska, much love and respect, coming back from 3 of those things. Was he about 6'9", 6'10", 320, 330? I mean, that is impressive. And I'll say this. If people want to get on him, let me just say this. Somebody else needs to beat him out then. If you got beat out by a guy with 3 major, I'm not talking the teeny tiny little X's. I've got those too, not many. I'm talking cut wide the heck open surgeries because I've got those too. You got beat out by that guy, unless you're like a freshman or a very, very young guy, I don't know what to tell you. He earned the job. Somebody needs to go beat him out. Hopefully we can get better plays on offensive line as a whole. Now, you did make a statement earlier. Okay, real quick. The defensive line is younger. The defensive line, I actually think, can make more leaps and bounds of improvement going forward just because they're younger. They have more room for growth. The older you get, the less room for growth you have. I think that's easy to understand. When you're first learning how to read, you're going to make gigantic leaps and bounds and growth. I was going to use myself, but I have a lot to learn when it comes to learning how to read. Jake does not have a lot of leaps and bounds and growth in front of him when it comes to learning how to read. I'm right in that, right, Jake?
Yeah,
you know how to, okay,
part,
you know how to read. I figured. Okay. So my point is, I'm optimistic that the D-line, as far as getting, more weight, and that's not going to happen until the offseason, but they can get better because they're younger. The offensive line can get better, but they've already got the experience, so they should have had a head start to begin with, if that makes sense. You did say there's no 300-pound guys walking through that door. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what you said. But there's a 300-pound guy that we brought in the door last offseason who is you take it from there. You know where I'm going. You know what I'm talking about. You take it from there.
Well, and that's the hope is Elijah Pritchett. Maybe you can develop him, bring him along. But again, and I can argue in this, he's getting penalties every time he's out there. Whether they're his fault or his own, you can argue that. That's not quite. But that's kind of that. You can almost put that in the sack category. That's stalling your drive. That's putting you back. So, and then the other thing is, I think if he was, unfortunately, like leaps and bounds better than their other choices, and he's doing that, then you go with him. If they don't feel like he's leaps and bounds better, then that's why they're not making the change. So I'm not sure. A lot of people still have hope in that, and maybe it can happen. I have hope that at some point in his career he can get it to click. So, at what point will that be? You can keep trying it, but I guess they didn't have much of a choice against Michigan. But I think for the most part, we talked about it, and you talked about it in this line. This line's going to be good enough for 3/4 of their schedule. Mm-hmm. Do you want to take the risk of maybe, trying to develop him along the way and risking some of that, and instead of just putting your best foot forward in those lines so that you can be better prepared for Penn State? Maybe. I think that's kind of what the situation they're in.
Can he be ready by Penn State? Penn State's a long ways off, like 6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
Talking mid-November here.
He's got to stop getting penalties when he gets out there. They give him shots. It's not like they don't rotate him in.
Yeah, and he got a false start versus Michigan. Now, it was a guy on the opposite line of scrimmage. It really probably was on him, but I pointed out in our show last week, he was the only one that moved on our O-line. There's 5 guys, and he was the only one that moved on our O-line. Let me ask you a question. Because he started for Alabama last year. Alabama goes into Georgia. Has beat Georgia 10 of 11 times. Their last 11 times they played, beat them 10. Ends Georgia's 33 home game winning streak. Pritchett started for Bama last year. Would he have started for them on Saturday? What do you think? We don't know the answer.
Yeah.
We are completely estimating here. But you would think if he started last year, he's on the same team, he'd come back and start this year. Team that just beat Georgia in Georgia.
Yeah, you would think so, but he was the least favorite offensive lineman down there. So that might have been an offseason. I'd have to look at their line. Maybe they addressed that. Maybe they brought some guys in.
Just curious, because there is a guy sitting right there that can help us. That's all I'm saying. All right. Anything from the text line?
Let's see here. 576-9 says, I know the answer. It's no. So apparently doesn't think there's much there to help.
Hold on. What answer? What question to ask? Ladies and gentlemen, when I go to an hour, it's fast and furious. I can't even keep track of what I'm saying.
I'm not really sure exactly.
You don't remember?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Can he text in what question he's answering?
Yeah.
With a note. All right. Anything else?
No, not necessarily. Oh, okay. So he says. So he's just answering the Pritchett question. He says, "I know the answer is no."
Oh, I got you. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm smelling what you're cooking. I understand the words that are not coming out of your mouth, but coming off your keyboard there.
By the way, too, with the offensive line, this is more of a big picture thing. I was trying to think, okay, who are the less tackles? I say they need NFL tackles to play against Michigan's, Penn State's. You're going to need those guys. When's the last time Nebraska had an NFL tackle? They had and I look back at it. It's a long time. I mean, you had Marcel Jones and Leighton Murtha had a little bit of something. I mean, they made rosters, but looking beyond that, I mean, I have to go back to Bob Brown. I don't know.
What?
As far
as Zach Wiegert, man, come on.
Tackles that played tackle in the league is what I mean.
Yeah, he played 12 years in the NFL.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go, Wiegert.
That's still too long. To your point, that actually,
I didn't
it adds to your point.
Yes, back to Bob Brown, but
that does not hurt your point. It helps your point. So those guys who've been successful in the past 10 years that maybe it didn't go quite as well at Nebraska, but they had NFL careers. Were they all guards and centers?
Well, that's what I'm saying, and it's not uncommon that you play your best offensive lineman at tackle, whatever position it would be. But I'm talking about NFL tackles. A lot of these guys, the Alexes, Lewises, I mean, the guys that they have gone on to play guard or center at the NFL level.
Interesting. Well, here's what I know. Our offensive line is big. They have some talent. They have experience. It's Donovan's fourth year as the offensive line coach. For Rhule to say they had a bad day, I mean, that's hard for fans to hear. You know what I mean? But let's see what happens as they play Michigan State. So he talks about Michigan State. And, of course, he says Michigan State's going to try to come in and push us around, and we have to be ready for that. Of course they are. Of course they are. Every team we play is going to try to run the ball on us. And if they've got a running quarterback, which, by the way, Aiden Childs, running quarterback, Maryland's true freshman quarterback, good quarterback, running quarterback. Like, that's exactly what they're going to try to do. You know, Bryce Underwood is dead last in the Big Ten in completion percentage. Dylan Rhule is number 2. Bryce is dead last. He's a good young player. He may win the Heisman, be the number 1 overall pick one day. But, man, I would have put 14 guys in the box. And I know we were trying to stop the run versus Michigan. I'll shut up and let that go. It's just frustrating. All right, Michigan's going to come in here, or Michigan State, is going to come in here and try to push us around. Of course they are. So their pass defense isn't great. As we start to look ahead to Sparty, their pass defense isn't great. The pass offense is probably the strength of our entire team. And, well, pass defense, I would say, maybe in special teams. Rhule did say that the NCAA changed what targeting is, what the, and I quote, crown, end quote, is, and what it is and isn't as a defenseless player. That was interesting. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but if you watch Penn State, Oregon, I thought that was a targeting call. I forget who the ref was that was helping him out on the call for the game. The announcer is like, no, it's not targeting. And immediately he said it, and then it wasn't targeting. Let's not spend a ton of time on this. My biggest issue with targeting, first of all, make it consistent. Second of all, don't make it the guy gets kicked out of a game for making a football play. That doesn't happen in any other sport. I've said it before. I'll say it again until they change the rule. Those are my thoughts. It has to be frustrating for Rhule, though. You're trying to coach your players what to do, and it's constantly changing. Talk about moving the goalposts. Quick thoughts, and we can move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to tell. Again, especially when you are changing it, like you said, and it's just, again, sometimes I just feel bad for modern day defenses compared to what you were supposed to do, which is go after the ball.
Good Lord.
But it's just you have to be changed and redirected on how to tackle and all this sort of stuff. So I mean, it looks like a targeting to me too, but they, to their credit, they like you said, the broadcast got it right right away.
I'm always going to be happy when they don't call targeting. Well, 99% of the time. If it's really, really bad, just as a defensive guy, it's frustrating and nauseating to me what that thing has become. All right. We got a clip. Been fairly serious today. Fairly intense, Jake. Why you been so intense today, Jake? What's the deal?
State week. We got to get ready.
I know. I'm with you.
No more bye week.
I know. Thank goodness. The team needed it, but I'm over it. Let's get ready for some Nebraska football. We got a clip of Peyton Manning. Some rule changes he would like to see enacted. Jake and I will discuss afterwards. Go ahead and roll the clip.
Rule number 1, intercepted Hail Mary shouldn't count against quarterbacks at the end of the half. Hail Mary throws at the end of the first half should be a team interception. They shouldn't be a quarterback's interception. They won't count against the quarterback. Now, Eli, I can see by your face you want some more suggestions. Good news.
Can you
I
pause
have
it?
some. You
We're just
good?
gonna pause it as he's going. Sorry, I didn't warn you about that. Did we discuss this briefly last week? I thought we did.
I don't think so.
No, it was the shots, the full court shots
Yeah,
in basketball.
yeah.
We're going to count versus the team percentage, but not the individual. And I said, isn't that going to be confusing? Now, keep in mind, this is Peyton being Peyton. He's having a good time, but there's a little bit of truth in every good joke, and he's dead serious about this joke. No, I'm sorry. It's too confusing when you go back and try to look and add up stats, and it is what it is. Like, if you convert a Hail Mary touchdown, does it not count for you? Like, does Dylan not get a touchdown pass? And Ja'Cory Barney, a reception versus Michigan? I know it's all in good fun, and I love. Dude, the Manning humor is phenomenal, by the way. But what are your thoughts on this, Jake?
Well, I mean, I think it's similar to basketball. It's within the rules of the game. I mean, that's the time period. I mean, just because it's a unique shot or a unique pass doesn't mean that's. I mean, you're putting it up to try to get points. There's it's a literal attempt at trying to score, or even in football and trying to get yards. If you're going to do that instead of go for the Hail Mary, so I mean, I get it. The problem is the stat culture, I guess, that we have, where stats can really, maybe you throw 2 interceptions on those, you end up with 5. Maybe you should have had 3 on the year. That can hurt you in an MVP race or something like that, which is kind of silly. But that's all part of the. Don't be so focused on your stats. That's the problem with this. Is all so focused on stats. I don't know. That's a legit throw. I don't like it in basketball. I don't like it in football.
Dude, I legit live and die by stats on shows, man. You're killing me here. All right, next one. Go ahead. I don't even remember these rule changes. I was just laughing the whole time you were saying this. Go ahead.
Yeah, but on this one, what if you complete the Hail Mary?
Yes, my point. Thank you, Eli.
Throw?
No, keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a stupid question. Of course it does. The interception doesn't count against the quarterback. Number 2, false start, offside, equity within the 10-yard line. If you're on the 1-yard line, the offense false starts, they go back to the 6-yard line. The very next play, if the defense jumps off sides, they only go back half the distance to the 3-yard line. The offense is entitled to get those 5 yards back. That rule makes no sense. Offensive dum-dum, 5 yards back. Defensive dum-dum, I want those 5 yards back.
So what if you're just on the 6-yard line and there's an offsides? Is it still half the distance?
Half the distance, yeah. It's only if there's 2 dum-dum plays in a row.
It's got to be 2
I want
in a
those
row.
yards back.
It's a very precise, specific.
So I actually like this. And Eli points it out at the end. He goes, it's a very precise, specific rule. Just call it the double dum-dum rule. And then everybody will remember it. I actually am in support of this. I don't know how often it's going to come into play. It's a very precise, specific rule, but it actually makes sense to me, the double dum-dum rule.
So far, he's looking out for the offense. I can tell so far.
Oh, shocker. Go ahead. What's next?
Correct situation. It's going to come up tonight. Number 3.
It's going to come up tonight.
Should not be an official statistic. Targets are one of the biggest reasons wide receivers get angry with quarterbacks. They should be outlawed. How do people know who I was throwing to when the ball was batted or when I was throwing it away? How does some statistician know who the quarterback was targeting? They don't. Let's get rid of targets.
Yeah, what if the ball gets tipped and by your receiver who you're throwing to and the other receiver catches it? Does that receiver get a catch but no target? Did you want to throw it to him?
Look, these are my rules, all right? Just stay with me. Number 4, batter.
Okay, you react to this one first. But let's react to Peyton's rules. What's your reaction?
Well, I just thought, I guess targets aren't a huge one. I guess with receivers and quarterbacks, they might be. That's not one that a lot of people look at, but I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I think for the most part, again, you're getting really into the stats. I think you probably get that run right, like, 98% of the time? You can tell where they're throwing the ball.
You can definitely tell where he comes up with, like, the 2 anomaly examples that he can. This is a quarterback who's had to deal with angry receivers who brought him, you targeted me X amount of times, and I got this amount of receptions, and this guy got targeted X amount of times. And this is the quarterback who is – dude, why don't we talk about holding? We're not going to discuss holding. We're not going to discuss the targeting penalty. We're not going to discuss any of the stuff that pertains to deep. No, just off. Okay, just stick with the offense. Go ahead.
The ball should be illegal. It should be banned. Nobody comes to a football game.
Pause. I put out a video on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. Cheap plug. That fall weddings should be illegal. Okay, so we've discussed this on the show. So I actually put it on TikTok. First of all, my wife saw it and she just rolled her eyes. My daughter came across it. She goes, Dad, why are you talking about weddings? All she saw was Adam Carriker wedding. She didn't read the whole. I'm like, watch it. And she thought it was hilarious. Like, she's like, Dad, this is the best video you've ever done. Mostly because you're talking about weddings in some way. But she loved the video. But I was like, fall weddings should be illegal. And she thought it was funny. Anyways, go ahead.
Stay with me. Number 4, batted ball should be illegal. They should be banned. Nobody comes to a football game hoping to see someone bat down a pass. It's lazy by the defensive lineman.
Stop it. Okay, let it go. I got to gather myself. Let him finish. What is this?
Didn't work. It should be an automatic replay the down.
So this lineman can't put their hands up. They just got to keep their hands down.
If they're close to the quarterback, they can bat it. But when they're stolen walled at the line of scrimmage, they can't bat it. Last one, number 5. Cash payments on the field.
Oh, pause. Before we get to the cash payments. Lazy by the D lineman. Your pass rush failed. But you can do it if you're close to us, but not if you're stonewalled at the line of scrimmage. Man, he has specific rules that always seem to benefit the quarterbacks. But my favorite part was lazy, pass rush failed, stonewalled. Do you hear the type of vernacular that he uses towards defensive players? Do you hear the type of abuse we have to put up with on the defensive side of the ball? What are your thoughts on, okay, some of these rules I could get behind. No, that rule's not ass of 7, not ass 8. That rule is absolutely ass of 9, but go ahead. What do you got, Jake? What's your take on it?
Oh, no, I mean, I don't even know how you would, why you would enforce that.
Okay.
You got to do everything you can to stop the play.
You mean people don't come to games to watch defensive linemen bat down balls? Is that the deal? Well, we don't come to games to watch you throw in completions either. Roll the next one.
Cash payments on the field for late hits. When a hit on the quarterback is going to result in a fine for the defensive player, there should be a cash payment on the field. The defensive player has to go get the actual cash from the sideline in a briefcase and physically hand it to the quarterback. It would eliminate those type of plays because of the public embarrassment by the defensive player. Right now, Eli, it's kind of a payroll deduct type thing. Doesn't have that effect that a public payment would have. So, Eli, you like this rule? And who's calling the commissioner? You want to call him or you want me to?
So instead of the player getting fined and it going to wherever, now it just goes to the quarterback. The quarterback gets the fine money.
No. The fine money goes to a great fund. It helps retired players. I like that. But the defensive lineman gets the write-off.
Well, you know where I stand on that stupid rule. This was great. This was hilarious. A lot of this was obviously tongue-in-cheek. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Every good joke has a little bit of truth. There's a little bit of truth in it. So there's a reason he picked some of these things. I guarantee he's felt that way towards defensive linemen. I will share this story. My rookie year in St. Louis, Brett Favre came to play at the Dome, the Edwards-Jones Dome, and he basically had to throw 1 touchdown. So we kind of knew he was going to set the all-time NFL touchdown record. I actually stuck a Sharpie in my sock. And I was serious. I thought about if he did it while I was on the field, and I didn't do it. I don't know if I wisened up or chickened out. Whichever option, pick whichever option sounds better to you. But he did it, and I was going to grab the Sharpie and have him sign like a towel that I was wearing around my waist or something. I didn't actually do it. He did set the record for touchdown passes in all-time NFL touchdown passes in that game in the Dome, my rookie season. I'm actually in the NFL Hall of Fame because of him. So I'm actually trying to hit him as he throws the ball. That picture's in the end. So I'm in Canton.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter why. Context doesn't matter. I am in the NFL Hall of Fame. As far as his cash payment thing, I feel he went too far on that one. I feel he just went too far. What say you, Jake?
I actually like that one. I like the public embarrassment, shaming.
Oh.
I would enjoy that one.
Dude, you deserve to be publicly flogged after that comment. Are you being serious? Or are you just having fun with this?
Well, I mean, we're looking for a more entertaining product. I would be entertained by that. Yeah.
I got some ideas for how we can make things more entertaining. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
I love Nebraska Pick 3. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
What if I told you there's now a Nebraska Pick 4?
Say what?
It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you could choose from 6 different bet types. What would you say to that?
I love Nebraska Pick 4. It's the Nebraska Lottery's very best game, and nothing could ever change my mind.
Thought so. Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Join LES at 6 p.m. Thursday, October 9th at the LES Operations Center to learn about the utilities' proposed 2026 budget and electric rates, and share your input at the annual public meeting. Learn more at les.com.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. Comfort food, but make it vegan. At Rutabagas, they're serving all your crave-worthy classics. Mac and cheese, loaded nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, all 100% plant-powered and 100% delicious. Catch them at their cozy spot at 70th and Vine, or find their food truck rolling through the streets of Lincoln. So whether you're vegan, veg curious, or just hungry for comfort food with a twist, Rutabagas has a plate waiting for you. Find them on Instagram for their food truck location and specials. Rutabagas, where comfort meets compassion.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. Final segment. Got to go fast. Want to give a shout out to our sponsors, though. All right. Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, both on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Again, that's SCAWISOW.com. Also, shout out to Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at HamiltonTel.com. That's HamiltonTEL.com. All right, we got about 2 minutes here, Jake. Anything off the text line? Anything we haven't covered yet? What are your thoughts, my friend?
We do have at least a comment here. It says 93.7 The Ticket, the best show west of the Mississippi. Love your show.
Dude, what's that? I want to give that person, first of all, you're highly intelligent, clearly blessed with amazing smarts. What's their name?
They don't have their name in here.
Oh, text us your name, my friend. Text us your name. Here's what I'll tell you. My final thoughts for the day are this. First of all, appreciate it. Glad everyone who enjoys listening to the show enjoys listening to the show. I love doing it. It's going to be even more intense than it's been. I can't wait for Michigan State. I can't wait for Maryland. I can't wait for Minnesota. I can't wait for Northwestern. I know a lot of folks are frustrated. You hear all these things in the offseason. You hear the hype. You drink the Kool-Aid. You sip the Kool-Aid. You don't drink it, but you watch other people guzzle it. And then Michigan goes the way it goes. By the way, it was a field goal game. And for everyone who's like, oh, Michigan could have beat us like 37-13. We had 2 drives where we came away with no points in the red zone. We also had a wide receiver, not getting on him. It happens. Just like Michigan made mistakes, guess what? We made mistakes too. They're allowed to make mistakes. So are we. It's called a football game. We had a wide receiver step out of bounds, step in and catch a touchdown pass. Now, realistically, he could have just as easily not stepped out of bounds. There's another touchdown. So my point is this. I know it's frustrating. But seriously, if we beat Michigan State and go to 4-1, you're going to feel completely different. You go to Maryland. That is a tough game. Minnesota is not going to be an easy game, but they are not as good as I thought they were going to be in the preseason, if I'm just being honest with you. Maryland is, I don't want to take Michigan State for granted. I can't believe we're a double-digit favorite. I about fell over when I saw that. They're going to try to hit us in the mouth and run up our rear end, and I hope we can stop them. And I don't want to give away my prediction. I feel good about the game. Maryland may be the toughest opponent we have in October. And this was the team that was about the worst team in the Big Ten last year and got rated by the transfer portal in the offseason. Kudos to their coaching staff and finding a true freshman quarterback and bouncing back. My point is every team is beatable. I can't wait to see what happens Saturday. I can't wait to see what our record is at the end of October. 7-1 is realistic. I truly think 6-2 is worst case. And you go 500 in November, you're all of a sudden at 8-4. And while my prediction was technical, I had never said 9-3. I said 9 wins. I'm finding loopholes now, Jake. Technically, my prediction would still be on the table of 9 wins.
They only have 1 loss. You don't have to do technicalities right now. They still have a chance to get there.
Everyone knows I meant 9-3. I never actually said that. I said 9 wins. There's loopholes everywhere. My point is, worst case scenario in October is 6-2. If we're sitting here at 5-3 or worse, we're having different conversations I don't want to have. And then 500 in November, when one of those games is UCLA? I'm just saying. I'm excited for Husker football to start back up, which sounds weird, but it was the bye week. You know what I mean. I hope you're with me. I'll see you fine folks tomorrow. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bugs.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Are you ready to transform your body